As I was working on the everyday tee pattern, the top that I'm wearing right now, I needed a way to avoid the jog and the thin stripes that decorate the body of the top. After testing a number of ways, I found the one that creates a perfectly jogless transition between colors. This way is called the raised increase method in the incredibly helpful book The Principles of Knitting. It works great for making jogless stripes that are at least 2 rounds wide. I also tested it to make jogless 1 round stripes, but wasn't successful. Helix knitting works much better in this situation. Otherwise, raised increase method is a perfect way to create jogless stripes in just 5 simple steps. Here's what I mean when I say that the stripes are perfectly jogless. I left this tail on purpose to show you where the beginning of the round is, and it is right here, and as you see, there is nothing that tells us that something happened here, the color was changed or something else. The stripes are perfectly jogless, seamless all the way around the swatch. So how do we do that? At the beginning of the round, when you're ready to introduce a new color and make a new stripe, take the yarn and the new color and attach it to the working yarn with a simple knot, just like this. Then move this knot to the bottom of the stitch. I would tuck the tail inside so it's not in my way. And then the second step would be to work the first round with the new color. So simply take the new yarn and work stitch by stitch all stitches in this round until you get to the end of the round, which is marked by this marker. And now we are back to the marker. So we worked the first round, and at this point there will be no stitches in the old color, in the yellow in my case. There will be no stitches in the old color on your needles. So we are back to the marker. We finished the first round. In the next step, so I'll slip the marker because we finished the round, right? And in the next step, we're gonna do something very interesting to prevent the jog from happening. Even though we don't see the jog yet, we'll make sure we don't ever see it again, right? So here's what we do. Insert the tip of the right needle from back to front under the stitch that is below the first stitch on the left needle, like this. So we go into the stitch that is below. It's going to be a stitch in the old color, the yellow in my case. Then place this stitch on the left needle, like this, and knit these 2 stitches together, just the usual way through the front loop, like this. So now we got rid of the jog. But there is another issue that happens with stripes. It's when especially it is visible when the stripes are narrow. So if we don't do anything right now, and if we keep changing the color at the beginning of the round, then one of the stitches will be 1 round shorter. And if the stripes are narrow, it is quite visible. So we want to avoid that, and that's why we're gonna move the place where we change the color by 1 stitch with every stripe. And to remember, to help us remember where exactly we have to change the color next time, we'll use another marker. So this pink one will mark the place where we change the color. And then once we place the marker, we continue to knit every stitch until we get to the end of the round. And we are almost there. Here we go. So I came to this marker that marks the beginning of the round, and now I know that I finished the round. If the stripe is a 2 round stripe, then we would stop right here. If you have a stripe that has more rounds, then you keep working in the round, and when you are ready to finish the stripe, you stop after you finish the round. Then work until you get to the next marker, the marker that tells us where we have to change the color. So I will work 1 more stitch and get to this additional marker. Then take that marker from the work, put it aside, pick the color that you plan to use for the next stripe. In my case, it's going to be yellow again, and repeat the same steps. So first we work all stitches in this round simply without doing anything fancy. We just work all stitches until we get to the end of the round. Now we work all stitches that are in old color. So in this case, it's going to be one more stitch. So I slip the marker that marks the end of the round. Then I work this stitch to make sure I don't have any stitches that are worked in an old color, so to say. So I make sure every stitch I have is yellow. And then we do this lifted increase again. Well, it's not really an increase, but that's how it's called, right? So we insert the tip of the right needle into the stitch that is below the first stitch on the left needle. Place this stitch on the left needle, and it will always be the stitch in the old color. So now we will always have different stitches in different colors, and that's how it should be. And then we knit these two stitches together through the front loop as usual. And now we place that additional marker again and continue working on the stripe. So as you see, with every additional stripe, we would move the place where we changed the color by one stitch. It will be further and further from the beginning of the round, and that is totally fine. There is nothing wrong with it. Your beginning of the round stays the same, but the place where we changed the color will be different. And that's how you can make as many perfectly jogless stripes as you need. If you're making white stripes, you can work without using the additional stitch marker. Because the one round difference at the beginning of the stripe is not visible in white stripes, it is fairly safe to change the color at the beginning of the round every time. To read this tutorial as a set of step-by-step photo instructions, follow the link in the description. To download it as a PDF, join the club or our community on Patreon. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful week. I'll see you in the next tutorial.